Hello guys, I think we're live now. As usual, just the initial sound checks, make sure everything is fine.
Hello, my name's Mark.
That we can hear ourselves.
Oh
no, that was a bit too loud there. So okay, we're still not live, it seems. Interesting.
Transform your space in
Okay, so can you guys hear me? That's the question, because
seconds.
I still can't see myself live on stream. Or maybe this is just because my YouTube is being a little bit, terrible. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there you go. We're live now. Welcome to another Go stream. And today we're gonna get straight into it. League of Legends. Hello, Robin. Yeah, I used to play this game. In fact, I play every now and then. It's just something that I do when I have absolutely no responsibilities to take care of, basically. Which does happen maybe once or twice a year. So, but since YouTube started, it's not something I play anymore, unfortunately. Do you have a picture of SpongeBob? Yeah, I do. You're right. Yeah, it's a fun fact actually. It's I was trying to get pictures to render on an LSD display through the Raspberry Pi Pico, and this picture was just the right size and it's square enough for me to work with that, basically. So that's why it's there, and it's been maybe a long time since I've done that project. I'm not sure why it's still there on the desktop, but yeah. Anyway, welcome guys, and it's good to see both of you already here. After a long day of work, we're back on the computer to do some more code, basically. In today's stream, I want to actually play around with some of the libraries that I found for doing a database mocking and database isolation, because I need to do some functional tests or system tests for Urchin. So I need to do tests, like end-to-end tests, basically, where we spin up the app, we put some posts through the CMS, and then we want to be able to see those posts on the other end, right? That's what we want to do here. So, this is the motivation for this video, the motivation for this stream. And, while we're at that as well, let's actually review what we've kind of done in the past few years, in the past few days. So let me just find the GitHub. Ooh. For Urchin. And we've actually had a few contributions from the channel here. So one of the guys, Al, who's one of the people who always join the live stream, he managed to improve some documentation here. I haven't actually tested this yet, so maybe we can do this together real quick. So main changes here that Al's done is basically to add some improvements to the Docker Compose script. So you can see here we have MySql.yaml, which I think he splitted out the MySql YAML from the main Docker Compose. And yeah, I guess it's what he did. So we're gonna basically just test it out now. History of Urchin. Once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away. Not there yet, unfortunately. I mean, I would love for this project to be a bit more mature, but right now, dude, it's fairly experimental, if it makes sense. Saying that, I am actually running this backend on a family business website. My Yantis website kind of runs this backend. I'm not going to say what the URL is because I kind of feel like there's a lot of bugs on the website and I don't want you guys to kind of go and like exploit the hell out of it. But I am running this somewhere, so it is in production somewhere. But it's still very, very experimental, if it makes sense. So let's hide this stuff because delete element, duplicate element, let's hide. There you go. I can't really see you guys messaging me for the heart emojis there. So yeah, I mean, readme changes that is done. This is basically just saying that you can start the application via the Docker Compose. So yeah. Devenv, I don't understand this one here. So Docker compose devenv. I mean, it kind of just seems like he didn't really add UrchinDB, container name UrchinDB. What? Oh, okay, so I just realized that this is not going to work, whatever he added here, because it's not quite exposing the application itself. So just for some context, we do have a Docker compose that we actually created on stream. And what it does is it basically just runs two containers, the MariaDB one, which is here, and the Golang application here. So I can't really merge this yet because yes, he's added some nice documentation improvements, but he's actually forgotten to actually start the Golang application, right? Hello Brock Daniel, welcome to the stream, man. So we can't quite merge this just because, you know, the documentation is not going to work very well for what he says it's going to do. Yeah, so let me just put a little comment here. So it would be nice. Hey y'all. What is it called? Docker compose the YAML, right? Docker compose YAML for this project. Just bear with me for a second, guys. I'll come back to you in a second. Just put in some feedback here. There you go. So this is just a little bit of feedback on the review, which means I can't really approve this yet, but I'm sure that he's going to make the change whenever he's got time. Anyway, so yeah, back to the actual code. So I've got this branch here that is called system tests, and what I want to do is, as I mentioned to you guys, currently we have the application running MariaDB database and the application binary itself, which runs in a separate container. So what I want to do is like actually write some system tests, right? I think there's a mistake in the Docker compose file somewhere. So I want to be able to isolate the database, start up the application, and then make sure we call something like the index page, and then assert that we can see particular posts in there for a particular test, right? So that's what we want to do. Essentially just an end-to-end test in Golang. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Like, I know some of you here in the chat actually do Golang quite a lot. What do you guys use as a framework for an end-to-end test? Because I was very much debating whether to just write all of this in Bash, but then I realized Bash is going to be quite difficult to actually maintain, especially for people trying to contribute to the project, because it's a little bit hard to read. And you know, if they're coming to the project because they do Golang, they might not necessarily know all the ins and outs of Bash scripting, especially the advanced stuff that we would need to be able to do proper system tests, right? Because if you're starting a database, for example, you have to be able to like trap commands and stop them before the end of the script, and you know, it's going to be very difficult for people to read. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think there's an issue here in the config toml. Right. In fact, what did we have here? So that Docker Compose up should bring up the application. You could replace Bash with Perl if you really wanted to. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about making it easier, and then I'm not going to put Perl in it. No one speaks Perl. Python, yeah, Python could be good. In fact, could not create a database connection here. In fact, Python has PyTest, right, which is a fairly good testing framework. But the problem is they now have Python and Golang in the same project. I would rather just keep it in Golang and kind of do everything inside Golang. So we're gonna try and do that today. So yeah. Hey, my favorite developer on YouTube is online again. Thank you, Arkonath. Welcome to the stream, man. It's good to see you here again. It's underselling himself, however, because it's not a chat. He's a gig chat. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, let's change those configurations here and make sure that this actually runs. Yeah, so localhost is not what we want here, right? Database user. See, if these configurations are properly done, you know, running up the app is just as simple as doing a Docker Compose up here for you guys. Even Ruby is good and really simple to learn, and testing frameworks are really expressive. Yeah, I've done Ruby before. Well, I did on Rails, really. I'm not sure if that counts. But yeah. By the way, if you guys haven't yet done it, first of all, like the video, because it does help me out quite a lot. And secondly, make sure you go to Urchin. Link is in the description. And do me a favor, right? Just start the project. I would appreciate if you guys can do that, because I'm trying to get some more eyes on this, so we can get people randomly helping us online. And it's been working so far. Like, the more you guys start, the more pull requests I get from random people. So you can see that I've got quite a few contributors now, not just myself. And I'll love it if you guys wanted to push some code through, and then I can review it and perhaps help you out on stuff. You get to learn a little bit, and you get to help me. So win-win situation. But yeah. So what does the app actually look like? This is what it looks like, right? There is an admin page where I can add posts and I can add images and stuff. But so far, this is pretty much what the backend looks like. It's just a post renderer for a blog. Yeah. But anyway, let's move this back to what it was, because these settings are necessary for me to be able to manually and locally run this. I started your project even though I have no business with Go whatsoever. Thank you, Stefan. You should get into Go, dude. Like, I was skeptical as well at the start, but then I realized that Go is really simple and it's really productive. Like, it's insane how productive you can be on Golang, and it has all the good stuff for any modern language. So like, it's very, very type safe actually. It doesn't compare to Rust, for example, which is even more type safe, but it's fairly type safe. You can't really write stupid bugs in it. It provides you like nice features like generics, because it has generics now, and even some compile time rendering for like files and stuff. If you want to include files at compile time to your binary, that's possible as well. I was actually quite impressed this is a thing. And yeah, I mean, I'm extremely happy with the development of this application using Golang. It just works. Like, Golang just works for some reason. So don't forget to hydrate yourself, guys. Yeah, let's get started. So the idea, right? The idea is we have a little system tests directory here, which has a main.go file. And what I want to do right now is basically find a way to create a mock database, but not a mock database in the way that you guys think of, which is, you know, we create a database and then we call the expect this call and so on and so forth. No, I want to create a dummy database that we can actually load data into it and retrieve data from it without doing any checks. Because I'm running an end-to-end test. I don't really care if it makes certain calls to the database. I don't really care for those things. Those things are tested in the unit tests. That's what I care about. So the only option I really found that will enable us to do that is the Golang in-memory database. I can't remember what it's called now. In-memory database. Oh, what is this? I didn't see this one by HashiCorp though. Oh no, I've closed something by mistake. There you go. Alright, I'll consider it for new projects. Yeah, I recommend it. I really recommend it. And you said to me before, nah, I can program in Go. It's a wonderful language, but I can't find, as of now, a reason to use it on my own personal projects. You know, to be honest, Stefan, I mean, I mainly use it for when I have web applications, to be honest. Like, this is Urchin is a backend for a website, right? A flexible backend, a CMS. So this is where where Golang shines. Yes, I could have done it in Rust as well, but this would have taken me so much longer in Rust, just because the language is bigger. There are particular safety parts of the language that don't really let you write certain bits of code without having to circumvent the borrow checker, basically. So I find Go a bit easier for, you know, web applications, but that's just me. Anyway, going back to whatever I said, go in memory database, MySql. I can't find the link now, but it was here. There you go. This is the one. So go MySql server. This is like an in-memory MySql database written in Golang. So you can basically just set up your MySql server from Golang. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this library here to create a new MySql server every time for a new test. And we can run the server on the background with a Go routine. So that's the idea today. Let me just draw it out so you guys can actually see what we're going to do. So this is my test here. This is my system test. Let's put it here somewhere. And inside the system test, we're gonna have the MySql DB here, which is in memory. And this is going to be in here somewhere, right? And we're also going to have the actual application, right? So the Urchin, which is going to be querying stuff. It's going to be definitely querying data from the MySql database here. But these are going to be separate threads. That's what I'm trying to say. So Urchin tests are probably going to run in the main threads. And the MySql database is going to be running on a background thread, right? So it doesn't disrupt the flow. And then we're going to create we're going to create a new database server for every kind of system tests. So that's what we're going to do today. Plus it's harder to find contributors considering the language is more difficult, plus it takes longer to compile. So Go is better here. Yeah, Go is definitely better here. I think that's you've touched on two key points there. So Rust is, like it or not, it is harder for developers because it's different to every other language out there. And, you know, for that reason, not many people know Rust, right? And for the, you know, as I said it before as well, there's even short of me saying this, there are literally like no jobs in Rust at the moment. I think we did a search the other day on LinkedIn, and compared to C++, like C++ had 77,000 openings with that mention on the job description in the UK, and Rust had like 35, not even 1,000. So yeah, it's very difficult to find contributors for Rust. So yeah, I 100% agree here. So let's go with this, right? Let's take a look at what we need to do here. So I think there is a way to create a server running somewhere. Where is it? So there you go. This is the kind of code that we want. So we're just going to copy and paste here and then try and understand it as we go. I've already got the executable right here, and I was playing with some of this yesterday, and long story short, didn't really suit me, whatever I did before. So we're going to paste that in there. So create test database. Ooh. Yeah, we've got this function here too. And we're going to see what this does and see if see if we like it, right? So first of all, we can run it on this port, so it has to be on a different port. Let's say 3336, right? Because this port is already taken by the MariaDB. So we want to run it on localhost, and the table name, I don't think it matters right now, but the database name, let's call it Urchin in here. And this creates a test database, and we can take a look at what this actually does. Undefined memory though. What? So do I actually have the module necessary here? So let's try and do it again. So let's remove that. So we're gonna do a go get from the directory itself. So development Urchin. Ooh. So yeah, we do have that. Oh. What is it? Go get golden. What the hell? Go mod tidy. What is going on here? If we do a build now, there you go. Things undefined memory. Memory is undefined. But it should have been here though. Why did it? Yeah, it went undefined for some reason. If enable users, right. So let's see what this is kind of doing. So we are creating a test database here, and this gives us back a DB provider. What is a DB provider? The DB provider is a provider for in-memory databases. We like that. So what does he have? He has a map of string to database. So this keeps all the databases in a map. Interesting. The history, read-only, bool. He has a mutex for the databases. Okay. Then we have the table functions here, which are all the supported functions, I believe, right? Let's take a look. Expression and database. Okay, I don't know what this is, but I'm just taking a look at how this thing is implemented. Because by the way, this library simply implements MySql in Golang. This is what they do. This is a database engine, and it's quite impressive per se, I think. You know, if any of you guys can write a MySql engine, that's a very impressive thing to do, if I'm honest. And this is why this deserves a little bit of attention from us. It's certainly something that will take me like a year to write, because it's one of those things that are very cumbersome. Not necessarily difficult, because you know, it's a database, right? You're storing data in memory somewhere. But it's difficult in the sense that you have to read the entire MySql specification, and you have to implement every single bit of it in the same way that the specification, you know, says you should. So it's difficult in that sense, very difficult actually. So we create a provider here, and then we have SQLE. What is SQLE? I have no idea. Base database, enable primary key indexes. What does that do? This causes every table created in this database to use an index on its primary partition keys. I don't know what effect this has. Maybe you guys know exactly what this has, but as a provider, a new DB provider from the DB database. And we create a context here. What's a context? New context creates a new query context. Hello Salmon Khan, welcome to the stream. Good evening, by the way. It's quite late here where I am, so I hope you're having a good time. So new context creates a new query context. Options can be passed to configure the context. If some aspects of the context is not configurable, the default value is used. So by default, the context will have an empty base session, a no-op tracer, and a memory manager using the process reporter. Still a little bit confusing as to what kind of information the context holds, or what it does, but you know, usually when I see context somewhere in coding, I straight away think of, you know, this structure has everything in it basically. So like, this is the everything in database, isn't it? That's what contexts are for anyway, so you can just show things into it and pass it down the stack, right? Thank you, sir, for your content. No worries, Salman. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Make sure you like the video. Helped me out quite a lot. Right, so we create a new table here. Memory, new table on the DB table name. What is table name in this case? Yeah, it's up here. Okay, so this is just us creating a table itself. So in this case, I do need something like posts, right? I do need a poster now. I actually need this to match. Oh no, yeah, I don't need this to match any of this, because I tell you what we're doing is we're creating a database, we're connecting to it, and actually we're running the migrations from Goose inside this, right? So that's what we're gonna do. We don't really care about the table that's being created at the moment in here, so let's remove that. We can also remove this, I guess, right? Does that mean we no longer need a context? I don't think we do, right? We no longer need a... Yeah, we just need that. That's our database creation for now. Posts, table name is not needed anymore. This variable may be found... Okay, so we are going to enable user accounts. But where does it come from? Enable user accounts. Because I have no idea. Well, there you go. Is that right? STL context has no field name, enable user accounts. Yeah, where is it? Where is this from? Let's see. There's a mistake here in the code, it doesn't actually compile. But we can search for it. So enable. So I have a function here, jump to it. This is coming from usersexample.go. It wasn't that one that we want. Enable users account. Stefan, look into the repo for MySql example. Oh yeah. We got on the same thing. So it's definitely not from the example though, because this should be an exported function like this one. So this is actually in the server engine, which is engine test. Oh no, it's not. This is again a test function. MySql with the functions add root account, automatically enable the MySql. Ooh. Maybe it's on the engine then. Engine.analyzer.catalog .mysqldb. The add user account. Ooh, yeah, I like that one. Add root user adds the root user to the list of commands. Add super user. There you go. Good. So I'm just going to do that and hope that it works. I think we've got it for now. And now we're actually going to go over and hook this up. Or in fact, let's try and run this, shall we? Let's try and run this. So we've got the server configuration here, TCP, new session builder. Okay, so why is this not compiling? Like, yeah, why is this not compiling? This is like the code, the example they've got on the GitHub, right? So it should at least compile. Maybe this is out of date. We can find a new functionality. It's not a problem. So they have a new server. Yeah, they do use memory.new session builder here. Do we need that though? So what is this? memory session builder, new session, SQL base. What does this give us? SQL base session. We don't have a base session, yeah. Oh. Let's just look for this new session builder. Start the server using the code in the example directory. Also reproduce below, right above the code example. Okay, yeah, let's try that. I guess you've got a point, right? So this is the one. Yeah, I mean, we want to get rid of this anyway. Yeah, no, this is the same code as the one in in their stuff. I would love to know what this function actually does, though. Maybe we can take a look at this again. I think you need all of those files to be in place because context comes from user example. All of those files to be in place. Do you mean the imports? I mean, I do have the imports already here. We can just make sure that we've got them there. Am I missing something? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, yeah, there's more. There's more. See, types is kind of like automatically gone. Everything in the example, I mean. Oh, okay, I see. So let's see what they do here. Yeah, maybe the session stuff is what we're kind of missing, right? So we return pro. I mean, it didn't seem like we needed all of this, but we'll try again. No, this is still red. This is still red, yeah. And this is just a missing. This is something that's like, I guess, quite out of date in their repos. I don't know. This is interesting though. Let's see. Where is this a function actually? Like, this is the only place it happens. It's in session, new session builder. From the context and the address string. And out of interest, what is memory in this case? Because memory is literally just a module that comes from up here. And we need a new session builder. Ah, okay, so it needs the session.go, memory session. There is nothing like, right? This is not a thing, right? It can't be a submodule. No, yeah, it's part of the memory submodule anyway. So I don't see why we don't get this. This is interesting, because this is a function defined in the memory module. Can I take a look at this? Import memory. There you go, session.go. This is function 59. Yeah, I mean, I've got a different version of this. I have a different version of this. for some reason. So what have I got wrong here? So the latest is what I have. 100%, right? This is what I have, latest. And we still can't build because it's going to complain. Not enough arguments. On line 37. Yeah, undefined. What is going on here? Using the in-memory test server. So the server using the code in the example directory, also reproduced below. There's nothing too bad in here. Enable user's account. Let's try and copy this as well. So create load of data. Can't find new file for some reason. What was this called? User's example. No, I am so confused as to why this doesn't work. Like, this damn function is just a function defined somewhere. In here, in fact. So, and session.go line 59. This can be defined as server session builder because importing it would create a circular dependency. But it's the same signature. Server session builder, but it's the same signature. I'm very confused. Like, why does this not work? If it's the same as that function, that means we can use that function anyway. So it takes a connection string, a context, connection. So context, connection, and address. Yeah, we can do this. New session builder, DB provider. And that returns itself a function. This is so confusing. So confusing. So what does this take? This is the handler itself. Oh gosh. I was not expecting to get stuck this early in the stream. Not at all. What is the third one? So new server. So 1, 2, 3, session builder. Takes a session builder. Can I just pass this? Type is not an expression. The 1, 2, 3, 4. New server is taking a session builder. type session builder is a function that returns all of that. So this is actually taking a handle to a session builder, and apparently memory should have that in it. None of them return a session builder though. I'd like to know like what is going on here, because memory session.go. I clearly have a different bit of code that they do. Memory session.go. On line 59. There you go, new session builder. So I don't understand why I don't have this. Perhaps the latest isn't actually the latest, right? Let's see. That's probably the reason. 6 months ago. Memory session. .go. On line 59. See, this is what I have. I have the actual latest version. Ah, okay, this is what's going on then. I've been so stupid so long. So the latest version points to 0.18.0. But the session builder is only available at main, because it's probably newer than 6 months ago. So the question is, how do I get the main version? So go get main branch. That's what I want. Okay, so basically we just do at main. This is so interesting. Okay, so we upgraded everything, which now we should have new session builder in it. Okay, yeah. So that was an interesting part to get stuck at. But anyway, that's better, isn't it? It's much better. I realized that one of the chairs that I have here are still being on camera, so let's push it away. Alright guys, we're actually ready to start this now, so I do apologize for that. It's been 45 minutes of pain, but now we figured it out. Yeah, no, I still think we don't need all of this 100%. So we need that, we need enable primary key indexes, probably, I'm not too sure, and then the rest we don't need. This is kind of what we want. Which means we don't want this either. To delete permanently. Use the example, yeah. We don't need the table name. DB name we are using, so we keep that as is. And let's see if we can serve it now, right, shall we? So this should build the test. So let's see, test. Okay, so we are accepting stuff, which is good. Now, can I use MySql here to connect to it? Where is it? MySql. Oh, MySql help. Oh my god, I can't spell MySql. And I can't spell help either, apparently. I want to see which port we're actually going to use here. Progress port. Big P. Access denied for user root. Why? Why is it denied? Add root user account. There is no password, that's why. There you go. So that actually works. That means like we run a MySQL server from within Go that we can actually kind of select everything. Describe. Can we do describe here? Oh, describe. Is that not a thing? Alright, no. Wait, so how do I use urchin? So urchin was not created, a database name. Oh, okay, so we haven't created a database yet, that's why it doesn't work here. That's fine. That's cool though. We can remove this for now. And let's see which bit of code we're actually missing here to create a database itself. Alright, this feels like a copyright strike, so I'm gonna move over. I think you had MyDB instead of urchin as a DB name. Did I? Before I compiled it? I just don't think it's been used anywhere, so it's not actually been created, if it makes sense. I think I removed a bit too much code. Let's see. In here we've got DB name. Oh yeah, this is MyDB. So that's another mistake here. There you go, Stefan. You've already got like a PR for this, dude. You just gotta push these changes and submit it, and you get like a nice contribution on this on this Git repository, because you've already figured out they've got some mistakes here, right? And combined with mine as well. They need to do a new release with all of this. It's a pretty good improvement for their code base. So this will be the DB name, right? Yeah, let's recompile it. No, it was a skill issue on your part. No, no, it's a skill issue on my part. Nah, I don't think it is. I think it's a skill issue on their part, because they define a variable called DB name here. And when you look at this, what do you think? You think that it's going to be this variable, right? That's loaded into it. But if you change this value here, it's actually still hard-coded down here. So really what they need to do is like change this to just be this variable to make a little bit more sense. I do not take the skill issue in this case. It worked as expected. I mean, it didn't work as expected. But don't get me wrong, I have skill issues in most other things, so... So let's build this again. Let's see what happens if we do a test. And let's do a MySql use urchin. There you go, so that database actually does exist. And it should say here, we got a new connection. Amazing, amazing. So this is incredible, because what does this actually mean? This means that we can create a function that will create a database for us, right? Starts accepting connections on the server. So this is the thing that we can run as a Go routine, right? So that's what we're gonna do now. So in essence, what we want to do is like we want to basically create a function called run database, right? And this is simply going to be all of this in here. And when it comes to main, what we're actually going to do is like we're going to run this as a Go routine, which means it's not going to be running, well, it's going to be running on a separate thread, hopefully, right? If that's what Go routines do. Which means we can do like our actual test here. So actual test code will go here, right? This is what we want to do. Even better than this, like we can just call we can just do it as a unit test kind of thing and actually use the Golang testing framework, the STD testing framework, to run all these tests for us, and we don't have to do it as a full-on application. So let's do that. So let's move this, let's rename this file, because it has to be a particular name for it to be a Go test. We're gonna do, oh my god, why I can't find any options today. I've been looking at code for too long, like my brain is fried. So this is gonna be index test, right? And then we can kind of do it in the same way as we did for the app tests up here. Yeah, let's do that. In other words, we need to do testing. We need to basically just copy and paste some functions. So admin app tests, no, we want this one. Correct TOML, missing data TOML. No, we don't want the TOML tests. We want some endpoint tests. There you go. So we copy this one. This one is a pretty good enough. And we have the run database server here. We're gonna do this up here. And oh, app settings. Why is app settings not a thing here? We need create database. We don't need the main function anymore. This is not package main anymore. This is package. Render index. Where's app settings coming from? Okay, this is the default app settings, I guess. We can put it up here. So we have localhost, yes, this has to change a little bit. Database user, no password as we know. Web server port, it's going to be 8080. Admin app, can we import this? Wait, why is this not being imported actually? I don't understand what's going on. It should have been imported. Post request. In fact, do we even need the admin app stuff? Like, we don't need it right now. Database mock is going to have to change. This is going to be the dummy MySql database. And we're going to do something like go run database server. I do want to kind of wait for this a little bit because I think it has to wait, right? Because it's going to start the server in a Go routine, but it's not going to take connections straight away. It'll maybe take a few seconds to actually start, and we'll see how that goes anyway. Yeah, we don't need the request here. Neither do we need that. This is a bad test for me to copy. So test index page. There you go. That's a better one. It's a much better one. This is what we needed. I'll explain to you why we need this one. Yeah, this one is actually just a test for the web page itself. So we can see that we have the database mock here. We're gonna kind of not use the mock database itself. We're gonna use an SQL database. And the SQL database we're going to use will point to our test database right here, right? That's what we're going to do. So let's do that. So our database is going to be, I guess, database. Oh no, database dot make SQL database. Yeah. So user string, user is root, password is nothing. Address string is local host. The port itself has to be the app settings. Oh, we have all of these things anyway, right? So we can just call them here. So app settings, database user, app settings dot database password, app settings dot database address, and app settings dot database port. And then the database itself, which is Urchin. Oh. Do we not have that in the app settings actually? Root Urchin, yeah. Database name, there. Why is database name not showing up? Don't need the mock anymore. And in here we can just use database, right? What is the issue here though? Assignment missing, mismatch one variable. But oh yeah, this is fine. It returns an error here as well. If in this case we want testing dot, or in fact assert dot is nil or something, or nil. I'll make sure that the error is nil in this case. Right. I do want to kind of debug this now and see if it's actually going to work, because I'm very interested. Maybe it's not working. Ah, okay, so it was already been used here, so like it was waiting for the port to be free. That's very interesting. So run database server. We're accepting connections. Okay, so it did connect to the database. That's amazing, isn't it? Problem is, that database is empty. So this test is definitely going to fail, as we will see. So we are going to see that the setup routes is there. Okay, we don't care about that one. Okay, of course we're going to hit every endpoint that we've ever added before in the past. There you go. So unknown driver MySql forgot import. Yeah, we did forget the import, didn't we? So we are going to import the MySql driver. This is definitely going to give us a copyright strike, unfortunately, guys, so I'm going to have to move to a different song. Maybe a little bit more calming as well. What we do want to do is database. Is that all I need to import, I think? Why is it redeclared? Ah, yes. It's because we... Wait, what? Okay. Is that going to work? Let's try again. So it did connect to everything. We're going to make a new request, serve HTTP, and we failed because we probably have an error somewhere. Panic recovered, invalid memory address on the pointer dereference. Oh no. Where is it though? So render index line 80. This might be a bug that we just found here. So index. Oh, this is in this is in here somewhere. So app go line 51. In development app go connection query. So this is the core stack. So get posts limit and offset. So database line 33. Line 33, right? So this one here is the one that fails apparently. So let's put a breakpoint here and see what happens. Because it may be that although this implements MySql, some of the stuff doesn't work. And I hope that's not the case, but we'll figure out. So debug test. Okay, so this is it. Ah, I see what's going on. So rows. So we defer the function. Wait, what the hell? There's a broken pipe here. Returns a middleware for a given writer that recovers from any panics. So what's the actual error though in here? Invalid memory address or nil pointer dereference. I don't know what that means. So it's a bit unfortunate, really. I think this probably has something to do with the fact that we don't actually have anything in the database, right? This is probably why. But there is a way to solve this, so we're going to run the migrations up now. So let's take a look at that. Maybe it's because this driver kind of, I don't know, this Go MySQL server probably doesn't handle well data that doesn't exist. I mean, when the tables don't exist or something. I made a PR on their repo for the mistake, so I guess thanks for the motivate. No worries, man. Also, make sure you raise an issue to say that their latest version doesn't match their main version. So they need to do a new release that actually matches that. Otherwise, people will be confused like ourselves for 45 minutes. But very simple PR and very effective. Yeah, so what is the issue here? The issue is that maybe I don't have the tables necessary. So we'll take a look at that. So Goose, Golang. So Goose is what we use for the database and migrations, right? So we can get up and running the MySQL database, and these are all located in the migrations app. You can see that there's a lot of up and down things. So it basically starts by creating the posts table and then runs this one and then runs that one and that one and that one and that one, kind of on top of each other, and slowly builds up the database that we actually need for the application. So any changes that I need to make, they will all be added as a migration in here. But we use Goose to do that. And the good thing is that Goose actually has a nice API for Golang as well, so you can call it inside Golang. Well, why not initiate yourself like I did? Well, I'm on the stream now, dude. You have no excuse. And I've already got enough contributions on people's GitHub anyway. So anyway, so yeah, let's keep up on this. So set dialect, and this is the file system stuff that I meant. So Golang lets you add migrations. Sorry, lets you add file system embeddings here. So this will embed all the files and migrations star.sql into my application, right? So they're all here. No matter where I take them, no matter where I change my executable to, this is a compile time feature. So it copies all of these files that I've got inside here to this binary, which is quite nice. And it works quite well with the Goose one anyway. So yeah, let's go for that. So we have set. Oh, no. Yeah, we want to run the server. We want to run Goose in here as well. Right. So Goose v3. What's the issue? Could not import Goose v3. No required modules provide packages. Yeah, this is fine. That is probably because we did a go tidy earlier, and go tidy kind of removed everything that I wasn't using, and Goose v3 was one of them. So we just have to reinstall it. So I still don't know how modules work in Golang, like the versioning for them, because I thought, you know, latest just takes the latest version here. Oh no, I guess there is some other stuff there. They have all the tags anyway, so that's kind of how it works. Okay, so Goose. And I kind of need to import v3, is that right? Could not import no required modules package. But like, why? Package main.go is not an std. No packages to build. Like, what are you on about? Maybe I just do a main here. Or why is compilation failing in this case? No required module provides go get Presley Goose v3. But that's what I did. I did that and then at latest. Okay, now it worked. Maybe I did it wrong. So let's debug the test and see what happens. Good. Yeah, so Goose, we have that. And then all we need to do now is to run the Goose migration up, which will run all of these files here, basically, that we've got for the migrations, one by one in order on my database. So I expect that to work, at the very least. And just to make sure I'm calling it right. So we have to set the dialect as well. Ugh. And migrations, right? We can do that. And obviously we need to create this before Goose. And in here, we just want to t.assert.nil, t an error. And same thing for here. Instead of db, what we do want to do is database dot Now this is one thing we don't have access to because it kind of sucks. So MySql connection, make MySql connection. Doesn't actually return the SQL database. Like, it doesn't return the pointer to the database connection itself, like this one. This is what I want here. I guess is it connection? Oh, we do return it. Never mind. What am I talking about? It's here. Yeah, it's that. Let's debug it and see what happens now. No, yeah, this has a memory address error somewhere. That kind of sucks, doesn't it? A no driver MySql. Forgotten the import. No, I haven't forgotten the import. I have not forgotten the import. Database MySql. Am I missing something here? Unknown driver MySql. Is that it? Did I just forget to do the MySql import? The thing is, why does this work and it doesn't have that one? I guess we'll try it again with that. You can read more about the drivers. There's nothing about MySql there. I guess we do need MySql as a dependency then. Why does it... It's not worked so... Like, it's worked so far without having the MySql there. So we already have that. I mean... It was already here. Oh gosh. Let's recompile it. See, it works now. There's no way it worked, right? It did actually work. What the hell? This is insane. This is actually insane. I'm really impressed with this library. Like, I'm not gonna lie, guys. When I look at a library like this that claims to that claims to implement the whole of MySql in Golang, and I have this crazy idea that I'm gonna use this library for a system test, an end-to-end test, to kind of isolate instances of my database for every test, and also on top of that, add another framework for doing things like migrations, right? Which God knows what they do in the database. They probably, you know, they run your SQL as well as their own SQL to set up the metadata. in my mind, I think, no, this is not going to work. This is going to fail at some point. So you can see I was quite surprised. I wasn't quite surprised when I saw all the errors that we had before about no pointer dereferences and stuff like that, because I just thought, yeah, I mean, this was bound to happen, right? But it does actually work, and I'm very impressed. So this library definitely gets a star from me, because it's amazing. Like, it managed to run all of my migrations fine, I think. The test fails though. The test fails, I don't know why. But it didn't fail on the database code, so yeah. Error trace, not equal, expected, test. Yeah, we can see why this is... Oh yeah, because I was somehow hoping for an internal server error, so... It should have been status OK here. And actually, I'm going to put a breakpoint here because this is insane. Like, we've just figured out how to write legit, like, jacked, absolutely jacked system tests in Golang. And I like that. Oh no, now he fails. What happened? Invalid memory address or nil pointer dereference. Let's run again. Ah, I know why. I know why though. It's because if we just run this straight away, the database isn't up. So it will try to access the database even though it's not up, right? However, if I run it again and wait a little second, then it should work. Yeah, we should do some health check basically. I can no longer debug it. Okay. I mean, we are getting memory errors now. Oh, this is not good. Let's debug it again and see what happens. I think it's just an issue about waiting. So like, look, database is running. Server ready, accepting connections. Once it's accepting connections, it passes. Things go fine. And things do run fine, which is really, really interesting. I'm very impressed. Okay. Now, the only missing piece of the puzzle is trying to make this particular test wait for the database to be spawned, right? So how is there a way to do that? I mean, what does that actually return? New server from handler. I mean, maybe the key is on their repo actually, right? So maybe the key is already in here. So if we do go routine or something, go routine itself, set increment ID duplication. No. What I want to do is like, I want to see if there's a way to run the test in the go routine, as well as returning some sort of like future that says we've now started the test or something. Sorry, we've started the database. Maybe on the examples, they have some examples. So create test database. We already have seen this before, haven't we? Integration test maybe, so go. MySql test.go. Yeah, so here they're doing exactly what we're doing in the app. They're just connecting to a test MySql open test Grafana. Oh wait, so they actually use quite a few different things to create this. So MySql is a data source agnostic SQL engine and server which runs queries on data sources you provide. using the MySql dialect and wire protocol. A simple in-memory database implementation is included, and you can query any data source you want by implementing your own backend. Adult, a SQL database with Git-style versioning, is the main production database implementation of this package. So Adult is the one that they use. So whatever they support, I guess, this library supports as well. Yeah. Information scheme. That must Adult support. Okay, so this is everything that it supports here. What is this? I mean, I don't know how to read this, to be honest. Column statistics, column extensions. I don't know what this is. I'm gonna take it that it supports the very basic MySql commands, right? That we use everywhere. But still no way to see if we can run this start server and then kind of return something from it, right? So s dot start will return an error. I mean, what's the solution to this? I mean, we could just wait. We could do like a few connections to it and see if it's gonna work somehow. See, because if we run it straight away, it fails because we have no pointer somewhere. Let's debug this test and see. Yeah, so ping doesn't work in this case. But error isn't nil here. What? Why does the assert not stop running the test though? Yeah, because that eventually causes something. So I don't know why the pinging doesn't stop. See, if we ping it straight away, this is definitely nil. I mean, not nil. We return that. Our database is nil everywhere. An error. I mean, this should just like break, right? I don't know why this doesn't break. It doesn't stop the program from running, so Golang assert. Assert panic. Assert panic. Because I want to make sure that we stop running the program right here, if this is the case, right? Also, it would be nice for us to put this in a try catch, I guess. Sorry, not a try catch, a for loop, just to retry it a few times until it's up. Yeah, let's do that. Let's create another function here. So function, wait for db And we can pass in the app settings here, which are app settings, command app settings. And we're simply going to return the SQL database or an error. Simple as that. Okay, and then we're going to put this bit of code here. And instead of this, we're going to do a for loop, right? So for how do we do in range again? It's like this, like range 10. No, let's do 10. Writing too much Rust now. So no new variables on the left hand side. And then what we say here is like if the error is nil, right? So if the error is nil, we're simply going to return the database a nil. Simple as that. And at the end here we return nothing and fmt.error. So fmt.errorf, I think it is, right? And this should have been, this is not C++, so this should have been the database.sql database here. Could not create database. Or database did not start. And then in here, we can do the database error. We want to sleep a little bit there as well. Maybe for like 100 milliseconds. Sleep in Golang. Time.sleep, that's the one. Sleep for 100 milliseconds. Yeah, this should wait for up to, I don't know, maybe 20 seconds, shall we say? Yeah, 20 seconds. No, 10? This is 2 seconds, my bad. Right, 200, 10 times, yeah, this is 20, up to 20 seconds. We sleep for that. Yeah, so now we do wait for DB, I think it is. App settings, that's what we do. And instead of assert.nil, this function doesn't actually stop the program from running though. Yeah, I wanted to panic. I wanted to definitely panic the program and not run it anymore. So maybe I don't know how this works. Assertions allow you to easily write test code and are global functions in the assert package. All assertion functions take the first argument testing object provided by the testing framework. This allows the assertion functions to write the failing and other details to the correct place. Every assertion function also takes an optional string message as the final argument, allowing custom error messages to be applied. Now it doesn't panic. I kind of wanted to panic straight away. Make Golang assert panic. This still runs, and I like don't understand. So now the database worked, and that is potentially happy, but I don't believe in this. I think this is the, because if I do something like this, that's not nil. Ah, so it's not nil. Yeah, if we put not nil here, return fail value. Okay. I'm just going to shift it a little bit so I can see whether or not it's going to fail. See, this still works, even though it's not meant to. It's not meant to. Not nil asserts that the object, specified object is not nil. If is not nil object, expected value to be nil. This can't be what I'm using though. Assertions is the one. Ah, it's testify assert, and I'm using the wrong one. I'm probably using the one that doesn't. Oh no, I am using testify assert as well. Hello there, Redemption. Hello Al, how's it going? Dude, I'm having a major like confusion session here. So like assert in Golang doesn't actually panic. So if this value here is nil, right? The program still runs, and I don't want that to happen. I want it to stop right here and then when it fails. And I am using the actual third-party library. Oh, what is it called? It's a popular one, I think. It's probably the one I've got online. Testify assert, that's the one. A toolkit with common assertion and mocks for Golang. See, my problem with this library is that like, if these two values aren't equal, then it keeps running. And I don't want that to happen. I want it to stop on the first assertion, like it fails. Simplify is nil implementation. I'm kind of using this one, I guess. But yeah, it's not ideal, right? If you assert something, at least in all the other frameworks that I know, when you assert something and that assertion fails, it generally, you know, stops the test right there and then, because, you know, you can't really continue it anymore. But yeah. Oh, by the way, Al, I left some more feedback on your PR. I realized, dude, that we do have a Docker Compose file already, and you've added another Docker Compose file just for the database. But it would be really good if we could merge these two. So for example, we already have like a Docker Compose YAML here, which I actually did on stream, I think. But if you can merge yours with this one, that would be amazing. Like, because in here we're actually using MariaDB, which is the database we've used for the development, and it has some of the some of these for health checks, really, to make sure that the database is actually up and running before we start the app, and that was very important. But yeah, take a look at that, dude. See if it makes sense. If it doesn't, feel free to message me on Discord, and we can do a coding session, one-to-one coding session at some point. Right. I've seen that. The problem I see behind this Docker Compose is that it runs both. My Docker Compose is mainly just for the local development. For this, I don't need Urchin starting in a container. Ah, okay, I see what I mean. So, okay. Yeah, that's cool. I see what you mean. Either way, I think, change the database to be on MariaDB as well. There's an image for that. In that way, the users don't end up with 3 different Docker images, because they are, like, if they run the Docker container for the app, then they will already get 2 images, which is the one I created for Urchin and another one for MariaDB. So if you change yours to MariaDB as well with the same image, at least that will be better. And what I recommend is like putting both of those Docker Compose files in the same directory, if it makes sense. So it's kind of clear, like, this is the directory for the Docker Compose files, and the user can just pick whichever they want, right? So you can have just database, for example. Ah, testify require. Okay, see? We're not doing it right, boys. It's testify require. Okay, let's change all the assertions here. From assertion, assert, to require. And this should work a little bit better now, right? Simplify range expression, quick fix, okay. Oh, for range, okay, that kind of just works. I like it. Test index, expected this and found, what? I'm confused. I use this workflow constantly for development, saves me a lot of setup because of requiring multiple data. Yeah, no, I understand. I agree. But I'll change it to MariaDB, no problem. Yeah, it's just so users don't get like 3 images, if it makes sense. Because like the Docker image for MariaDB is already 300 megabytes or something. Or maybe even less actually, it's like 100 or 200. But anyway, so is the MySql one. So it's just about saving up space, right? And it works in the same way. And to make it, I guess we could change it to MySql, but the problem is I've used all of these. I mean, I guess all of these migrations were created using MariaDB, so I'm not sure if there's anything that will break in there. So for the sake of backwards compatibility, I think it's better to just change it to the same database used for the development of this. But yeah, there's no pressure, man. Just do it whenever you can, by the way. Just some feedback, by the way. Nothing major. What the hell is it? What the hell is going on here, though? Like, why? Assert is gonna be a require. What the hell is going on here? So create database, wait for DB, view problem, expected is found. I don't understand what's going on though. Let's just comment this out. No, MariaDB is forked from MySql. They have the same SQL dialect. MySql was bought up by... Yeah, I understand that. So it's no longer open. It was bought up by... Yeah, MySql is no longer... Yeah. No longer open source. That's why I started using MySql back in the day. But did it not diverge at all? Are they the same, like, dialect? I thought there were some differences, though. What the hell is going on here? Why is... I have no idea what's going on. Ah, found it. There you go, found the issue. Let's run a test, and things should pass. Fail. Oh, expected value not to be nil. Yeah, so now it does fail straight away. So we can see that's what we wanted. So we'll go in here and it will wait for things and then it will fail because we use the require. That's amazing. But now we can just do a nil here and get back to the test itself. So we've got a pretty good way of doing system tests now with a kind of real database, right? And as soon as this dies, I guess the Go routine also dies, is that correct? So you're the Golang person here, dude. So is that how it works? So the Go routine is kind of like a coroutine in Go. So it runs potentially in a separate thread here, but as long as this function dies, the Go routine will also die. Is that right? So basically we'll stop the database because this is running a database server for my tests. I just want to know that. Because essentially what I want to do now is like basically do the same thing for a different test. DRV. So we test index page post exists. We set up the roots equals requires equals new request, and then we can do request the body here. So if the require dot contain s interface, so hello world contains that. Okay, good. So we can do something like T here. Is there something like before all for all tests? I start in database servers for all tests at once. We can do that. I mean, you mean like a fixture, right? I guess we can do that. So I'm using, maybe this library will help us out. Because the idea of this test is like to be a system test, right? So what, maybe you missed that part, which was actually quite interesting. I found this library that will basically implements MySql in Golang, right? So I'm starting a new MySql server, MySql Golang server, isolated for every test, right? So every test I can start a new database, add some posts to it, and make sure those posts are seen by the client. And that is a full-on system test that actually covers all of the lines in the code. And by the way, this is what I'm using it for, because I've realized that a lot of the lines aren't being covered in the tests, in the unit tests. So a system test will kind of do that a little bit better, right? And this is what I'm doing. This is essentially the logic of it. So I create a new Golang MySql test for every test, and then throw it away at the end of it. Yes, we can probably do a before all. Let's see. So before all, I guess that'll be a fixture, right? How can I do test setup using Golang package? Dude, these images, these songs kind of, they're very slow for me. They're good, but they're just a bit slow and kind of making me fall asleep. Let's find a better one. Okay, that sounds a little bit better. So yeah, set up and tear down. This is the one. According to the documentation, a Go routine started with a function will be terminated if the calling function is terminated as well. Nice. Yeah, this is what we want, because this will terminate. We'll make sure that this function is terminated. The database is terminated. So test double me, setup suite, tear down suite is just the setup suite. Okay, so they just do, they just use defer here. Smart way of doing it, I guess, right? So your setup function will return another function that's called whenever the function finishes. Hello, Slim. How's it going, my dude? Dude, you always get here late and you miss out the most important parts of the stream, dude. It was actually quite interesting earlier on. We found an amazing library that we can use for the tests of our database code, which implements MySql entirely in Golang, and you can run it alongside the tests, like very isolated. So, and now we're just finishing off the test itself. With setup and tear down. Yeah, I mean, this makes sense. So this kind of just creates a function that sets up the code and then returns the code for tearing down something. It's alright, Slim. It's alright, man. Next time will be... I'll try and do some more streams on the weekend. I know that's probably better for everyone in terms of timing, because, you know, weekdays are kind of difficult. Everyone's working, right? So it's kind of a hit and miss for some people. Especially for me, like, I'm just behaving like a zombie here without a brain. I'm reading things, but it's like it's going into one ear and then coming out of the other one. Nothing is sticking at all. Yeah, so this kind of makes sense. So like we can do the setup and tear down for the test. Let's do that. Still a chat though. Thank you. Dude. I'm not sure if that's like a cringy thing a cringy label to have now, or if it's a cool one anymore. I'm not in with the kids anymore, so like I don't know what sounds cool and what doesn't. So this is the setup database. Testing.t. Wait, what's TB? What's testing.tb? You can use testing.t if you want. Okay, yeah. We will use testing.t. And then we return a testing.t as well. Yeah, but in this case here, as you can probably guess, we're going to be starting we're going to set up the server, right? So go. I'm not sure now, you see, because this setup code will run, and then I want to put my Go routine in here. But then, before we do this will return anyway, and the Go routine will come out of scope, which means that it will be finished. What I want to do is like I want to make sure that my Go routine stays alive. So I think there's a before suite in Golang. Okay, let's take a look at that. Or basically what I want to do, like, I want to run this in a setup. I mean, to be fair, this is fine the way it is. Like, it's working, right? This is just one single line here. And yeah, I mean, adding a setup and teardown is only going to add more lines to us with no benefit. So let's keep it that way. But if we want to do a different setup for every test, then yeah, we'll add that now. This works so far. So request.body here. How am I testing for the content in the other ones? And the other tests. So we have the app tests in here. The question is, how fast will the database start up? If it requires a couple of seconds for each test, running all tests might take, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. It's fairly fast though. It's like 100 milliseconds, so I don't mind too much. This is not a full-on. This is where you'll probably be a bit confused, Al. This is not a full-on database. This is a Golang in-memory, like, dummy database. So this is not like a whole database service. And if you're interested, take a look at this. This is what I'm using now. It's actually really, really good. I was impressed to know that this supports the entire MySql dialect. Because it's a memory SQL. Yeah, I mean, you don't like the approach, but I'm not running the app on this, if it makes sense. I'm just running a test. I'm just running kind of like a system test, all in memory, in Golang. Because the thing is, if I wanted to use a real SQL, then that means that, you know, for all the tests, I have to start a real MySql. I want to make sure that they don't interfere with each other, the instances. And I probably have to write some tooling around that in terms of like scripting, bash scripting or something. And it just seemed too long. This is, in my opinion, a lot better. But let me know. Let me know what you think. And this is not a unit test, by the way. This is a functional test. Sorry, a system test. This is like an end-to-end test, all in memory, if it makes sense. This is what we're doing here. You know, for unit tests, yeah, I just have mocks. Like if you actually look at the Urchin unit tests, you can see that I've mocked the database. I've got interfaces there that are mocked everywhere, and I don't actually call a real database if it's just for the sake of hitting certain lines. But this is for an end-to-end test. Yeah, but anyway, so how did I do the comparison for the other endpoints here? Body string, okay, contains body string. So body string is a thing? Wait, what? Ah, is the writer. Okay. So the writer is what I should be looking at. Oh my god, this song I've been looking for ages. Can you send me a link, please? I'll tell you what, there is a... In fact, I can't even play this because it's going to give me a copyright strike. But it's there. It's on the top right of the stream. Can you see it? Let me know if you can see it. If not, I will send you the link here. How can I share a link? There you go. It's a Zelda song, so I always get copyright strikes with Zelda songs. I send the link, let me know if you can find it. If not, I can go back, yeah. So we want to do a test post, right? So what do my migrations actually have? migrations, add sample post. My very first post. And this test should pass, so we should all run fine. There you go. It passes in 151 milliseconds. Thing is, I could probably turn this up a little bit. So if I, instead of waiting for so long, instead of waiting for 200, I can do like 400 here. And only sleep for 50 milliseconds. Or even 25 milliseconds, that should be fine, right? 10 seconds. That way with the initialization time is not going to take too long. It's a bit hacky, like I'm sleeping until the thing is working. Yeah, it takes 50 milliseconds for the database to start, as you can see here. Not only that, that includes the migrations up. And then we also run the test, all in 67 milliseconds, but it's pretty good. I had a problem with memory server tests for memory Mongo in the past. That's why I don't like the approach, just PTSD. No, yeah, I understand. I understand the problem though. Yeah, currently I'm not running into any issues with support, because usually the problem that you have, Slim, with memory databases is that you're at the hands of the library support, right? So if, for example, this library says that they support MySql, but actually they only support 89% of the MySql dialect, then you might not hit any issues until later on, where you use something like a more advanced feature, like the UUID functions, for example, where your application works fine, but on the tests, it would just like throw a null pointer exception or something like that. And that's very difficult. But I am fairly certain that this is fine. And I'll tell you why this is fine. Firstly, they seem to use a particular backend called doll. I've heard of doll before. This is the backend that they're running here. This is the support for MySql. And it has a very wide support for the MySql dialect, right? So like I can be certain that they support most of the stuff here. And as long as I don't go past any of the doll support, I should be okay. Number two reason is I'm actually running migrations on this. In other words, I'm running Goose on this database, and Goose is obviously running all of the migration SQL that I've written myself, as well as the shit that they use in the background, which is, you know, sets up the metadata, which I'm sure uses a bunch of like MySQL advanced features. SQL features. So, you know, if it runs on this, which is running fine, I'm okay to keep going like this. But as I said, you know, we're at the hands of the support there, so it just means whether or not we're going to hit an issue later on. But for now, since we can keep all the system tests within Golang itself, I'm fine to keep it this way, because I want to avoid having to add either another framework here for this project. For example, adding the Python for PyTest framework or something like that run system tests fairly well, or doing everything like Bash or scripting, which is, yeah. Let's full fly ahead until roadblocks. Yeah, exactly. But the main key here is, well, the main point here is that I want to keep everything within Golang, and this is why I chose this way, because I want to kind of avoid other language dependencies and shit. So, but yeah, I mean, we've got two tests that are running fine, two system tests. Now, what I wanted to do is actually to compile this with coverage support, right? So if you look at the Golang coverage functional test here, you can pass in a flag to go build that will actually build a program with coverage enabled without having to run it through Go test. So this particular command here, will build a program with coverage support, which means that whenever you run a program like this here, it will create some files that have the coverage data in it. And later on, you can merge all of these data into one coverage file that says, you know, these are all the lines that were covered by all of your tests. and whether that is unit tests only or also the system tests. And this is the main reason why I'm also keeping everything in Golang, just so we can do this. We can use all of the coverage data in our pipeline, right? So we can kind of export all of the coverage data. There are, what I'm trying to say is that there are some reasons for this approach. I'm not just picking it blindly. Matt, quick question. Go for it, Al. I'm here for you, dude. I'm trying to start the compose run, but it's not working for me. Okay, so what is the error? Is it working for you? Perhaps. Let me see. So the go compose run. So do you mean this Docker compose here? Or the one you've added? Because the one you've added, I'm not... Actually, I was going to test it yesterday, but I forgot to actually run it, dude. I'm sorry. Oh, compose run. Okay, so this is not working for you. Why is it not working for you? What is this doing? So goose up. See the urchin and air. And what is air doing? See the urchin migrations is the problem. Okay, what is the volume that we're passing here? Target urchin. Why is it the problem though? It seems to be working for me. Let's try this. So if I do, well, I'm pretty sure it's not going to work actually, because I've made some changes to this config to run locally. 1 second. Yeah, so these are the changes I've made here locally to run this on my local machine. So let's make sure we change those real quick. So line 2, this should have been MariaDB, and this should have been urchin here. After that, can we do a Docker compose up here, and is it going to work? That is the question. So is your directory created as the root level in WSL2? It's not, no. Okay, so it seems to be running how when I do locally here. Okay, yeah, so it is working for me at least. Now, the problem that you could be having is that the volume maybe didn't go through properly. So Docker compose, I don't see why this would fail though, because we have a bind volume here. You are calling Docker compose. I'm talking about this shell script. Yeah, the shell script is just for the Docker compose, by the way. This is not to be used. Yeah, it's a little bit hacky. If it makes sense. This is not to be used by hand. This is gonna fail, yeah. If you run this, it's not gonna work. Yeah, I only created this so I can call it within here, you see, the command. Because for some reason I couldn't do multi-line commands in here. I'm not sure if you were here for that stream, but I had that issue with Docker Compose. It doesn't do multi-line, so I had to put it here. So perhaps if in your pull request you want to do this as well, just move it away from the user so they don't see it. Just put it in the Docker Docker Compose directory. So whatever you feel like makes easier for people to develop on, I'm with you, dude. So make whatever changes you want, and then as long as they make sense and there's a reason for them, I'm happy to approve. We'll clean that bit a little because it's quite confusing. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's just bad naming as well. This is like a helper script for the Docker Compose, basically. I've lost where we were actually. We made this test, and I wanted to build it with coverage, right? So I wanted to do that with coverage. So how do I build test executable in Golang? So Golang unit testing. See, because these don't really have a main in it, do they? So like, how does it actually work? How does the build system work in Golang? Because I can't just come in here and do go build index test because it's not going to work. Is it? Package test is not an std, yeah. It looks for test xxx in the function. Yeah, no, I know that. We've got that. We've got a test here. My main problem is that we are, you know, what does this generate? This generate a binary when you run it? So like, you know, go bin test. What does go test do? Because I want to turn this into a binary. I'm not sure if it works in the same way as CMake, but in CMake, when you have tests, you run it through a test binary. You compile a binary full of your test functions in it, and it runs all of them. I'm guessing that go test kind of do something similar. I'm not sure, but yeah. In fact, do we even need that? We don't need that because this is gonna. We can run this through go test anyway, right? And then we can do coverage in here. Wait, what do we use for the coverage again? So test YAML. Okay, yeah, we can do all of this. So this is all like automatically gonna do all the coverage for us because we have the coverage profile. Yeah. Yeah. Slim, ignore everything I said, dude. It's all fine. It's all fine. We got it under control. So if we look at the, there you go. You can see the migrations happening here. So error table not found, GooseDB version. We're creating them. Okay, I'm kind of happy with this actually. Very happy. So we have a directory called system tests and then the render index here, which runs all the tests for the render index. And it has the migrations in there too. I mean, currently my migrations are kind of being copied from the root directory to here, which is a little bit weird actually. So in Golang, I've learned that there's this way to embed the files into Golang with this embed file system. So this will basically embed all the files that match this pattern here into my Golang binary or the test itself. But it only works for relative paths, unfortunately. I can't do something like this because then it doesn't match anything, you see. Which is a shame really, because that means I have to copy all of the migration files into this directory. But maybe there's a way to do this a little bit better. Yeah, maybe there's a better way, right? So go file system embed relative path. This is intentional undocumented. Patterns may not contain dot or dot dot or empty path elements. No make. Okay, so it's intentional. It doesn't work. Ah, okay. Wait, what's go generate? What local asset there? What the hell is that? This might be useful for us. So what? Go generate. Wait, does this work? So if we do something like wait a second, so migrations. We may have circumvented everything. So yeah, go back twice. So we go back once here. So we're here, we go back once, we go back twice, when we test, then we go back 3 times. And we do migrations. And if I remove this, does it copy everything for me? At compile time, run go generate. So what is the issue here though? What is a trace? Migrations permission denied. Operation generate. What the hell? Module lookup disabled by Go proxy off. Copy a folder in Go. Go generate permission denied. So have a Go generate drive process or any other non-generated Go files in the same directory. Add this comment anywhere in the file. Right. This is confusing, but I think we might need something like this. As it stands, I don't mind copying the migrations directory into Golang. But yeah, I'm just gonna push this, and I'm gonna continue the work maybe in 2 days' time, because this is actually turning quite interesting as it is. And I have to go to bed, unfortunately, guys. But we're Gucci. Right. There are some other stuff we need to add as well. Migrations, add cards table. Ooh, we forgot to push this one to oh, let's remove that. We don't care about this one, do we? Wait, what do we have in the git log? What are we doing here? We're adding system tests with full DB support with this motherfucker here. Yeah, so I'm gonna create a freaking pull request for this, and then I'll continue the work later. So if you want to take a look at this, do you rotate projects every day? Yeah, I try to. I try to, dude. So currently I've got like 2 good projects going. I've got Urchin going, and then I have that emulator as well that we're making. And I'm gonna try and finish those. So I'm gonna try and finish those projects to then move to something else. But sometimes YouTube requires me to move projects anyway, because like if I keep doing Urchin for like 2 more months, people just won't watch it anymore, right? That's how it works, unfortunately. So either I keep adding very interesting stuff to Urchin, which is kind of impossible because at some point you're gonna have to add features that are boring, and you're gonna just have to work on fixing things, or you're just gonna have to move on to another project that sounds more interesting, to be honest. So can be motivated, I'll take your advice. Yeah, Slim. So motivation is difficult, man. I mean, I'm not always motivated. Today actually, I was kind of really debating whether or not to do the stream, because I was like, I don't really want to do the stream. I just want to sit down and read a book or watch something and play a game. But I just forced myself to do it, man. And that's how I keep motivated. Just forcing yourself. You get into the kind of like routine of constantly working on something that's improving yourself, and that's how you stay motivated, man. Make a new program, like call it Matt Pro. I'm not that good yet. I mean, once I've understand languages a little bit better, because you know, programming languages are a huge thing. You need to understand about tokenizers, about how to do code optimization, and understand maybe a little bit of LLVM as well. Probably the easiest route nowadays. But yeah. To do. I think I'll stream a little bit urchin coding. Yeah. So Al, if you do that, man, I'll watch you, dude. So just make sure that you post the link on the Discord, man, for your YouTube and stuff. But here it is. So you know, this is what we've got so far, and it's actually a full-on end-to-end test written in Golang. Oh, this does not need to be here. This needs to be gone. So this needs to be gone. If you guys are interested in figuring out like how this is all implemented, feel free to go and have a look at this. I'm gonna actually try and finish this work this week, but it depends on whether or not I have time. But you know, Slim, you asked me how I stay motivated. Like, look, I've got so many PRs that are still kind of unfinished that I still need to go back to. Specifically, the one about flexible cards, where you can add cards to the database. This motherfucker is big and is difficult, and I haven't had the time to properly finish it yet. But I had somehow I'm gonna have to go back to it and finish it. Can I refactor some tests with dependency injection? Of course, man. Of course. This is open to contributions. It's an open source project. MIT as of now, this pull request right here. It's going to be MIT, so you're welcome to fork it, to pull requests and everything else. If we can get this to a good state, I'm happy to actually advertise it even more to people. I'm happy to get people using this. I mean, right now you can actually create a personal blog with this. So it's very easy to create a personal blog with Urchin right now. Now, should you put this on production? I don't know. Am I putting this in production? Absolutely. I've actually said before, I'm going to say it again. I've got this backend right here running personal websites for family businesses somewhere. I'm not going to say which businesses they are, because I'm scared that people will just find a random exploit and try to break it. So I'm not going to advertise it yet, but I am using this on production. It's not giving me any problems so far. I mean, it's running fine, and it's been running fine for 2 months now since we've started the project. So yeah, my aim is to get this production ready. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave it here for today, and it's been a pleasure talking to some of you again. Slim, Day of Redemption, thank you very much for sticking around for most of the stream. Thank you for some of the old guys, the guys who were here from the start of the stream as well, if you're still watching. And I'll see you guys next time. So one more question: you really need to add API keys for free for the admin part? Yeah, we do. But basically, I'm not too worried about the auth, yeah. Simply because the admin part isn't meant to be open to anyone. So like you're not going to open those ports on production. So it's just meant to be running locally now. As I said, it is something we need to do for actual production, right? We need to worry about auth somehow. But that is a problem for the future, dude. So yeah. But anyway, thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night and happy Ramadan, I guess, for you guys, right? So this is a Django Destroyer. I hope so. Anyway, bye-bye.